28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
What do you got to eat? Here, guys. Ooh. What's this say? I don't know. What's that say? I know, but I'm not going to tell. I think it says it's good.
Conjecture Hoops contains all the presumptions, assumptions, and off-the-wall postulations a growing kid needs. Conjecture Hoops, a big bowl of bullshit. Saturday morning cartoons.
Now at night time.
Mostly conjecture based on little knowledge.
Please welcome Max Headshrew, Dell, Aria Blackness, and your most gracious host, Ben motherfucking Jackson. Applause. Applause. Applause.
Hello.
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 Hello, our most gracious host.
What's up, you guys?
What up?
What are we
Y'all
talking
doing
about?
Anything and everything.
Was I
Max
supposed to do any research?
The main
Max-
focus of this show is supposed to be Rogue Trooper.
Yeah,
You know about
might
Rogue
not be
Trooper.
entirely for
I totally know about Rogue Trooper. Isn't it
Okay.
crazy that he was like that his test tube named him Rogue, and in fact that's what he went and did?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird. It was weird that the guy was named Helm, who eventually, and the other guy was named Gunner,
Yeah.
who eventually became. That was weird.
That was
Listen,
totally
man,
weird.
It was the 80s and that was acceptable for kids.
That whole notion of the characters being named, having those names, that was a little bit of a turnoff. I'm going to be honest.
Wow.
It felt to me like poor writing, just like not making them larger than life real characters.
Well, what should they have called the gun? Remington?
Then I changed my mind.
Yeah,
Well, they did do so later on in let me for people that don't know what Rogue Trooper is, it's a 2000 AD story, and yeah, I'll get the Wikipedia up. It's a science fiction strip in the British Comic Magazine 2000 AD, created by Dave Gibbons. He's always featured on the show. It's essentially about a genetic infantryman named Rogue. That was the reason they were interfered with genetically. There were a bunch of super soldiers, and there's a big war going on the planet, and the planet is poisoned by all the toxic gases from the war. So they develop these genetically engineered soldiers that can breathe in all the atmosphere, and that's why they're blue. And then while they're on a mission, go on, Rob.
Why is it the New Earth Future War is called the New Earth Future War? If they're living at that time, wouldn't it just be called the New Earth Now War? The happening just now war. Sorry to interject, please.
New Earth.
Because it's got because it's kind of like I feel like they inject us
because it's the future.
But not for them, it's not. It's like
Well, they still know they're in the future.
Yeah. So are we.
If
It's
you're
like-
living on
it's
another planet and you have laser guns,
No, Rob, we're in the present. Anyway, what were you saying, Max?
So the genetic engineered soldiers, and during a mission, they all basically get killed off because somebody's a rat. And then there's one single trooper left who happens to be the Rogue Trooper. And he has 3 friends who have all been deceased, but he's got their personalities recorded on a microchip, and he implants one into his helmet, one into his bag, and one into his gun. So it's helm, bagman, and gunner. And that because it's essentially each episode is basically like Kane from Kung Fu, but with a blue guy with a massive gun. He just goes around this planet solving people's problems and moving on.
So it's like the Incredible Hulk. It's the same format. It's like the A-Team. It's like this whole thing that happened
because he's like a lone
hobo.
What's that?
Can't see that. That's me shaking Dave Gibbons' hand.
Yeah, but did you ever eat a bratwurst next to it? No, you didn't.
You and he were buddies, weren't you?
Once.
Absolutely brilliant.
Who
Yeah,
was
you
that?
had breakfast
What was
with
that
him,
clip
and
of?
you.
Oh God, I
That
can't
was
remember the
Dark
name of the
Place.
show.
Right, yeah, that was
No, who's the guy in the clip?
Who was it? Matt
Yeah.
Perry.
Didn't you?
Matt
Didn't you
Berry,
say
yeah.
recently?
Yeah, I recently went to see Dark Place, the stage show. Anyway, moving on.
Garth Marenghi.
Garth
is the
Marenghi.
guy's name.
Garth Marenghi. Isn't that the guy on Deep Space Nine?
No, that's a Ferengi.
Oh, all right.
Well, wait, isn't that the 2/4 signature dance from Dominican Republic?
No,
No,
what's
that's
that?
merengue.
Oh, man.
1, 2, 3.
No, isn't it a type of egg-based dessert?
No, that's a meringue.
Boom!
Well, but isn't that like a single hulled ship? As
So you
opposed
went
to a
to
dual hull shaped
He's gone
hull
off
ship.
Hang on, I'm just going to look at words that rhyme with Ferengi.
So you went to see Garth Marenghi, and
Yeah.
he was very funny.
Yeah.
Has he got a sister
Made
called
lots
Cat?
of memes throughout the show.
Cat Ferengi.
No, Cat's a meringue.
So anyway, Rogue Trooper. Yeah. Anyway,
It has begun. Sorry.
He's fucking cool. I loved him as I arguably preferred him as a kid to
Dread.
Judge Dredd. And after Dredd, after the Dredd movie came out,
There was talk of a
David
Rogue Trooper
Bowie's-
movie.
David Bowie's son was talking about writing and directing the equivalent movie of Rogue Trooper around the same time. But you know, because nobody's heard of this, it never happened.
I'll
But to
tell
answer
you-
your question, Ben,
And these last 2 films were duds.
or your criticism even about the name of the helm and the bagman and the gunner that your initial criticism that you came round to. That later on, now they rebooted the series, and I don't know if it's a reboot or if later they introduce another rogue, but later they introduce another Rogue Trooper, but he's called Friday, and he's also got the 3 friends, but they've all got normal names. I think one of them.
Dick Harry.
Well, they're sort of
according
cool
to-
like jet names. One of them's called 8 Ball, and I can't remember what the other 2 are called.
That is well
Clearly.
early 90s, that.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
8-ball, is that the cup, the digitized jock strap.
Yeah,
According to Wikipedia, the late 80s reboot was a reboot. It wasn't it was a different character, but it was like a reimagining of the character.
right. Well,
And then they bring the original Rogue back.
in that case, then Friday must have came along at another time. But I remember reading it as a kid and being really confused because I didn't witness the transition or the introduction of this new character.
So obviously,
It's
this
like,
is
they've changed Rogue Trooper's name to Friday for some reason.
this is somebody with paranoid
That's what it
schizophrenia, playing with his toys because he didn't have friends,
Yeah.
inserting his schizophrenic hallucination, multiple personalities, whatever you want to call them, into his toys.
Right.
To forget about and distract himself from the fact that he has no other children to play with.
Yeah, that could have been a nice little twist at the end if it just turned out that he was
schizophrenic child.
Yeah,
playing with his toys.
Yeah.
I kept expecting that to be like the next.
That would have been good.
Nowadays, they would do something. They would introduce something like that to make it all common. It was just
Rogue Trooper.
And M. Night Shyamalan would
new
direct
collection
it.
by Ray Bradbury. Yeah.
They deconstruct it a little, don't they? I remember a specific episode actually that was just about. It just caught Rogue Trooper in the middle because he would kill those other soldiers and they all had gas masks on, so they were like the Rogue Trooper equivalent of stormtroopers because they would turn up in every episode, right?
And you don't see their faces.
Yeah, they're called the Dreadnoughts or just the Noughts or something. I can't remember.
Nort, N-O-R-T, like
very
Nort. Germanic. It's like Russian Germanic.
Well, they're like from the north, I think was the idea. They're north
and southers, isn't it?
Right, okay.
Planets
and
have
the whole episode was essentially about he was fighting like a battalion of Noughts, and they had their general, and Helm spots the general, and sort of tells Rogue Trooper during the battle, "That's the guy that killed me. So you need to get through this battle now and get to him." And it's the whole story is basically the helmet, like whispering these psychopathic things into his ear to get him more and more crazy. And in the end, he convinces Rogue Trooper to sort of beat this guy to death with the helmet. And
it's called
like the helmet's
it's
going
called
crazy
schizophrenia paranoia. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was just it was I just loved it as a kid, you know. It was just
no,
really,
I love
really
it
cool.
still. Yeah, it is cool.
Why don't the boots have chip slots?
I don't know.
I was actually thinking.
In your gun? Why have you put me in your butt plug? I don't understand.
I was actually thinking.
What would the butt plug's name be?
I don't know.
I think it would be
Shaky.
Yeah.
Butty.
Yeah.
Go on,
Bert.
Go on.
So I was actually thinking, Rob, how it would be really cool if there were like a left and a right boot thing where it was a two-faced kind of a situation where a character was torn between two modes or two attitudes.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
like a pacifist.
like the angel and the devil on the shoulder.
Yeah,
Go on, do her. No, you mustn't do that.
Exactly. It would be his two boots arguing, right?
Yeah.
Between mercy and savagery or something like that.
He does come across like another small surviving battalion, and they're a female.
Venus Blue Jeans.
Yeah, and she's super sexy,
and she's hot.
Yeah, she is hot.
She's so hot, she's blue.
She is blue. Yeah, well, Arya should have been on this show because he would have been blowing his load all over the camera.
That's true. This kind of woman is entirely Arya's type.
Yeah, she's only got two breasts.
Yeah.
So who's gonna show us stuff?
Well, I've got this up, you know, but I mean, I haven't read the whole 4 books. It's a lot. And I'm busy. It's like 200 pages a book, so you know. But I used to read it in the day, just like Max.
Yeah.
And I liked it. Yeah.
That's it's just that experience that I'm bringing. Really, one of the things I think I've said this before on previous episodes. One of the things about getting comics when I was a kid was that I got them kind of sporadically. So I always had this feeling of being dropped into the middle of a story. And not really understanding what was going on and just trying to figure it out and then never reaching the end, right? Which is probably why I get this fascination with unfinished projects. But Rogue Trooper was perfect for that because you could drop in and a lot of the stories were just singulars. Yeah. So you'd be like, oh, he's just on a new adventure and he's just doing some cool shit.
Well, I'll tell you what you're describing is pretty much a shared experience of all comic book readers before the internet. Which
right.
myself included. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because like you just have these 2 issues here, and then a gap, and then a couple issues later, and you kind of you have no way of finding or reading the content between the issues you happen to own, let alone the issues prior or since. And so what happened in my case is I got really used to making up my own stories, which is kind of why I like have the audacity to suppose that I can, because I find that the stories I would always imagine to fill in the blanks, they're usually better than the story turns out to be 20 years later when I download it legally and read it finally, you know.
That was my experience with American books. Sorry. Go on, Jim.
I was just going to say, it's funny that the comic industry didn't catch up to the way that television worked, because obviously before the internet, you know, the episodic television, where you get a single story in an episode of Star Trek TNG, for example, was the norm. As opposed to now, where you can keep up with everything, so you get much more long form storytelling. Whereas the comic industry never did that. They must have realized that this was a problem for a lot of readers, that they couldn't follow this long form storytelling, because everything would be devoured sort of in individual portions.
But I think
the whole story.
I can imagine they wanted it like that, because of course they wanted the reader to get the next issue to find out what happened, and that's I think that's why.
Did they though? Because they also had these massive block texts of being like, by the way, this is Rogue Trooper. Let me tell you the story of Rogue Trooper. He's a guy in the future in the new battle, and his helmet is in there. So, like, when you read the first panel of any of these progs, it's this massive text to bring you up to speed. Now he's trying to kill the one guy, and he's on the spaceship, and here we go.
They know there are always new readers jumping in the middle of a story. And the thing is, 2000 AD is an anthology, right? So they want that, you know, there's always one story starting, another story finishing, another story in the middle, right? So there's always this continuum, right? So they wanted it like that. They wanted not just, I mean, there were stories.
Reader loyalty.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
This here looks more like Max Headstrom art to me.
Yeah, this is a current page that's going to come with the broken comic book, because it's still.
Is that for the Ashcan?
Yeah, it's for the Ashcan. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that fills in some pieces. What's going on with Brocon? Are we ever gonna?
No,
I've
decided to stop doing it, and I'm just going to take the money. Sorry, I didn't tell you. I'm just going to take the money, and I'm going to come and live with you in Colombia.
Okay, I think it's a great idea. I think if you did come to live here, we'd get all of our projects done a lot quicker.
Yeah, probably.
I was thinking about how could I go and live in England.
Mate, England's all right. The weather is shit, but
I don't mind the weather.
You know, you could actually buy a Welsh football club.
Yeah,
that would be one way in, wouldn't it?
I don't know.
Could you buy a Welsh football club?
Broken's still happening. Obviously, there have been some delays. I'm not going to make excuses. It is coming. You're going to get more than you asked for. Partly.
What if you showed us? Yeah, we're doing an extra Ashcan, right?
Yeah.
To make up for the lateness. Free Ashcan for everybody.
Which there's extra pages as well.
Yeah, it's longer than we advertised. So, do you want to show, before we went live? You showed me a couple of pages. You want to hold those up again real quick?
Yeah.
He's illustrating it live.
Yeah, I finally got a way to.
Yeah, but I like these pages a lot.
Nice.
Especially that.
Yeah. Well, that's what we want, the finished stuff.
Fighting, yeah. I like fighting.
Excellent.
Isn't that cool? With the weapons and the clothing and the action scenes fitted into the frames.
Right.
Yeah.
It's cool.
I liked the sense of movement in those panels.
So do
Yeah.
I.
Oh, stop it! It's sending me eyes funny.
That's exactly what I like about it. All right, so
No. Genuinely, I like you get a sense that the characters are moving. With
Thanks.
the blur lines in the back.
I feel the same
Nice one.
way.
It's hissing down of rain in that scene.
Mhm.
Oh, is it supposed to be rain?
Yeah, they're only like the black and whites, like the
How do you do the rain line? Do you do it? How do you do the rain lines? Do you do it with like masking tape, or you just leave gaps?
The thing about when you do like black and white washes on things, you can, because it's not just your base, you can be pretty sloppy. So literally, I just like that with a big brush. But every time you get like an overlap on the when you've done one streak compared to the other, it just makes the lines for you. It's just like a little technique.
I have no idea what you mean there.
So yeah. Get me up.
Make it big.
So on this, right?
Right.
On this, right? I've just literally just got a paintbrush with a
I can see the rain now.
a grey wash, and just after I've painted it, just paint over it like that. But like wet. So if I go that way and then just keep doing it, it overlaps. So you're going to get darker and lighter bits. It just looks like the rain. And then just to highlight it a little bit, I just get like a little white paintbrush and just put some lines in.
Yeah. Obviously, I'm just looking at the white or the lighter bits cutting into the dark shadows.
Yeah, right.
So basically, you've just like done the black with the gaps.
Yeah.
And then afterwards,
understand like roughly where light comes from. A lot of it's like smoke and mirrors. Because I'm sure a lot of my stuff wouldn't look like that in real life, but it's got to be titillating, isn't it?
Yeah. Talking of tits, that's a hefty looking guy in the background.
That's a dwarf. That's a fat dwarf. I found this as I was illustrating.
Don't they like to be called little people?
I mean, you could call him a little person. He might stick an axe in your head.
Did you base
I never
him
understood
on,
that.
No, I shan't be cruel.
It seems like little person is so much
Friend
more.
of ours, name beginning with T.
A person beginning with T.
Yeah, I-F.
What?
Sorry,
someone that me and
I said in joke between us.
He looks like a He looks like a troll. Do you guys have?
Here's the thing about dwarves, right? Here's the thing about dwarves. When it comes to the way their bodily structures, this is the way I think when I draw them.
Tolkien-esque dwarfs or actual dwarfs?
I'm not sure how we describe
Tolkien-esque is the answer.
Yeah. They need, in my opinion, right? They've got to be formidable because they're supposed to be these formidable warriors, aren't they? And I always envision a dwarf carrying like a huge, oversized axe.
Yeah, like Warhammer.
Yeah, exactly like Warhammer, which means their body type has got to be probably closer to like it's got to be the structure of their body's got to be closer to perhaps a chimp because they've got to have really big hands and big feet.
Exactly. So they're not as tall as humans, but they're definitely have.
Yeah. So like a chimp's a lot smaller, but it could probably rip your fucking hand off. Do you know what I mean? Because they're not super strong. So yeah, think of them as like little gorillas with really big hands and like huge axes. So when I draw them, I try to give them like these big forearms and feet and stuff, and really huge shot. Otherwise, they are literally dwarfs. And I feel like if you were living in Tolkien and they were like a land of dwarves, you wouldn't be having a walk. You just walk in and kick them all about, wouldn't you? It'd be easy. So easy.
But you could not imagine Snow White living with 7 of these buggers.
No. That'd be a completely different story. Darker story.
This dwarf in particular, if you see the other pages of the Ashcan, you get a better sense of of what he looks like. This particular frame or this particular instance of him, he looks like a troll, but like those toys. Do you know what I'm saying?
Because
The
of his
pink
hair.
hair.
Oh god, oh god.
What are those called?
They're called trolls. Yeah.
I used to have this purple people eater. You'd have to put them through the mouth of this like alien thing, and it's kind of like Buckaroo, or it's like Buckaroo. If you get it at the wrong time, it would just like clack.
Right,
So the reason why I did his hair like that,
purple.
I needed it sticking up because later on in the story, he gets. I won't ruin it, but he gets into a fight with something and he gets covered in blood. So his hair's all like really, really straight. And I wanted to make.
You wanted a contrast.
Yeah, I wanted a big contrast where he got clean and like calm at the beginning, and then by the end, you can see he's like been through.
But you always do that like hair together thing, like a river, and I really like it because that's the same feeling as like Rokan when he's in that fight, and then it gets disheveled or whatever.
Hair needs to be more exciting.
God, I think we've talked about this. Sorry, Ben.
Sorry, that's all right. Ever since your David Lynch portrait.
Yeah, I was going to say.
We've had that going on.
I had that framed David Lynch picture on my wall for
That's
about 5
why
years.
the curly, swishy hair is probably. I reckon I've got that from Todd McFarlane.
Oh, right. Yeah, okay, I can see that. Because, oh, God, I think we've talked about this before on the show, that there was a 2000 AD character, a little kid that was a little demon in...
Oh, yeah, with the...
Yeah, what was his name? Bradley. Yeah. And when I see that and those kind of like swirls, but they're not totally round swirls. They're very square. They're pretty squared off swirls.
Yeah.
And I can't remember who drew Bradley, but that wasn't
Dave Gibbons.
Well, it wasn't Gibbons, was it? No.
It was too crazy.
That's my answer for who illustrated that in 2008.
I'll look it up, but
it's all done by Dave Gibbons.
I'll have a quick.
That era. I thought Dave Gibbons was the only artist that worked for 2008.
Get out of here! What about Gibson? Oh, Gibson's new book's coming out on Friday.
Oh yeah.
Oh right, Gibbons and Gibson.
Yep.
But yeah, I've got.
What is it?
I've got.
Bradley.
That era where Bradley came out, that was my era of reading 2018. I think that's probably all my shit is probably can be traced back to that time because it's Bisley, Greg Staples, that Bradley. That was probably when I was reading Spawn as well, when I first discovered Spawn, which absolutely blew me away. By the way, it's the way.
Right.
Okay,
Simon
so
Harrison.
Bradley.
Okay, so Simon Harrison, Bradley's birthday, episode 545, 3 pages. Artist Simon Harrison.
Right. I've got a cross between a What's for Brekkie and a Morning Dump. I don't know which one it is.
A morning dump.
Because it's a nuanced topic. What should I go with? Should I go with Morning Dump or?
Why do you play one after the other?
Okay, I'll do.
That is one big pile of shit.
Right, I need to do an into one in between called the Morning. What's the Dump? Something I don't know.
What's the dump?
Yeah, what's the dump? And the dump is
okay. I got it. What's going down?
What's going down? What's coming out of my ass? So I'll show you a video, and I want you to guess what it is that I'm about to talk about.
It was me, Barry. I made them draw Lola Bunny with fewer sexual features so that you wouldn't be horny and reduce your blood flow to make you a millisecond slower. Slow enough for me to kill Iris. Remember when you were making out with your first girlfriend? And you came right as she touched your leg? It was me, Barry. I jerked you off at super speed so it'd seem like you nutted at just a woman's touch.
That's so good, isn't it?
Surely that would cause really bad chafing.
It's so well done.
I mean, if he's American as well, it's got no foreskin. That's like real dry whacking.
So
that was well done. I all through that clip, I was like, "Hang on, is this
So what
is this official?"
What I'm about to bring up.
The Flash trailer too,
Yes, the new Flash trailer,
which I haven't seen.
Right, we probably need to play that in a moment then.
Gordon's alive. Oh, sorry, different Flash. Right?
Ethan's alive.
The reason why it's in between the two, because I have two conflicting emotions on this, right? Hey, Zaid, yeah, that is good, isn't it? One is I am haunted by the nostalgia of something like this, because I really appreciate seeing Michael Keaton back in the Batman suit. And the opposite side to that is I hate the fact that I'm being hypnotized by nostalgia for liking Michael Keaton being in the Batman suit. And I'm considering going to see it, and I kind of hate myself for wanting to see it, because I know it's going to be shit.
I hate anything where you can see the studio notes and you can see how well calculated something is. So obviously the heads have gone, okay, we'll get Batman, Michael Keaton back as Batman. That'll get all the middle-aged old farts in.
Yeah,
but we're also going to make Superman a girl. So
yeah,
we'll get the woke crowd in as well.
Yeah.
I'm just doing the nipple thing just because of the Batman suit, you know.
Yeah.
What do you mean Superman's a girl?
So
Superman's a girl.
I've been in a cave recently. I don't know.
You know.
I'm surprised this hasn't been made a much bigger deal about. Kal-El's now a girl.
Do you so you know Flashpoint, Ben? There's the Flashpoint story.
Yeah,
it's that.
Oh,
so there are two Batmen in it. So basically, they've done Flashpoint, but they've replaced Thomas Wayne, who becomes Batman in Flashpoint, who was Bruce Wayne's father, with Michael Keaton's character.
Okay,
but he's not Batman's dad. He's just a different version of Batman. So, and
is he the one that kills people? Because that's the coolest version of Batman.
I don't know. Potentially, I don't know. But it sounds like they've kind of fucked it up. And the Superman that's in that, they've replaced it. It's a girl. It's a female Superwoman. And the Flash ends up doing the thing that he does in the book, which is he tries to go back in time and stop his mom's murder. And in doing so, he breaks the timeline. So essentially, to me, it looks like most of the film, he ends up back around the time where Man of Steel happens. So he's watching that battle, and Zod's in it again, the same guy that played Zod as Zod, trying to destroy Metropolis. And this time, it's a female Superman that's trying to stop him. And Michael Keaton's Batman is the Batman in that universe. It's all very. I still don't quite.
Okay. Isn't a female Superman just called a Supergirl, and she has like a skirt, and she's like a.
Oh, put a label on me!
Essentially, in the same suit. She's in the same suit as Henry Cavill, with the colours have been changed around. Like there's like a red thing across it. But it's essentially the same suit. Yeah.
So her legs aren't even naked.
No. Then there's already a female equivalent of Superman existing in the DCEU.
Yeah. But Michael Keaton looks fine.
If she's got pants on, I'm not interested.
It's all yeah. So I'm sort of being
no sexy red skirt.
Yeah, I'm being eroticized and seduced by it for all the wrong reasons, and I can feel my skin happening to me.
It just feels like a checklist. Okay, so we got Michael Keaton in, so we got the Rememberies, the the old school vibe. What do people like from our universe? They like Ben Affleck, they like Michael Shannon, Tick Tick, and Superman's now a girl. Tick, it's like it's all bases covered. The movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, is Henry Cavill never going to be Superman again?
No.
He's now the master in Doctor Who.
Is he?
Yeah.
But Henry Cavill could be Supergirl, and then everybody's happy.
Right.
But only if we see his legs.
Yeah.
Dude, would he have to shave, or would he just leave them au naturel?
I'm up for the hairy legs.
I just love the way you're really contemplating that.
I'm up for the hairy legs. Wouldn't it be oppressive to make him shave?
I think so.
I feel like it definitely would. So I want to see his hairy legs and his spider's legs poking out his little pants underneath his skirt.
Don't you fucking oppress me, mate.
Don't you fucking oppress me, mate. Anyway, that was my morning breakfast shit.
Okay.
It's more than
I can dig it.
More than me shitting on it. It was an internal conflict that I'm annoyed at.
Well, you know what? So here's some more shit that's for breakfast. The Mandalorian season 3. They did a little switcheroo there. Get rid of the sword altogether. And then
wasn't that the car they had in Back to the Future?
What?
The Mandalorian.
Hang on a sec. Hang on.
It has begun.
I should have done that earlier.
You should have. Woulda, shoulda, woulda.
And then I say, no, that's a DeLorean. And then you say,
wasn't that
have you got any more man DeLoreans?
But it's funny, like this season they had Grogu in a robot mech. Yeah. So that was cool. Yeah. I kind of like that.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet.
Of this season very early. I might go back to it, but
mate,
the first couple of episodes I was enjoying, but then in episode 3, they went off on a completely different tangent about these two characters for half the episode, and then came back, and I was like,
nobody enjoyed that.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy that this series nowhere near as much as like the first one.
Yeah. The thing I liked about The Mandalorian, it was self-contained stories, and it felt very tight storytelling around one character.
Like Rogue Trooper episodes.
Yeah, it ended when he took his helmet off. That was the end. Yeah. That was it.
Does he call his helmet Helm?
Yeah. No, he calls it eyeball.
Yeah. I really feel like
it was made in 1992.
Does he call it hard hat?
Yeah, just
he calls it hi-fi.
Ben, are you trying to get us to stick on topic? Ben says on topic.
I'm not overly worried about it, but I was just gonna say, like, I think I agree with you. The story makes more sense if it just ends when he gives Grogu to Luke.
Yeah.
Because then they completely undo that. Because then they're like, oh, never mind. We're just going to reverse that whole direction.
He's gone off in his own direction. Oh, but he's still my sidekick.
Yeah.
No,
and now he's adopted him. So it's
that was
late now.
That story was to be his mentor.
Does Grogu take his name then?
Grogu does take it.
He does, yeah. He's called Din Grogu. Yeah, he's called Din Grogu now.
Yeah.
Cool.
Wow.
I mean, if you're into interspecies,
Adoption.
Solidifying the point of the story too much. Because the point was, he kind of was his son anyway. They had a bond, but they had to be broken apart, which was sad. And then they over solidified it by going, well, it's his son. Yeah, I know it's supposed to be his fucking son. That's why that's the whole point. It's why he cared for him. But now you've like
that's why he cared in the first place. Yeah.
And you know what I mean? You've overdone it now.
Yeah.
So it's like.
So like, it's very old-fashioned, simple storytelling, and then in this latest season, when they went off and focused on these other characters, who I had no idea who they were, I thought, oh god, they're putting something in here. I could just feel like it. They were putting something in that didn't need to be in there.
Yeah,
and Mandalorian and Grogu's mum.
Who was
the mechanics? I mean, you know, we were talking earlier about little people, right? I mean, what I want to know is when Mandalorians get married and they consummate the marriage, do they keep the helmets on?
Well, there was one of the Mandalorians had a son, and in our house we were discussing.
Was he born with a helmet?
Really? Yeah. I don't think he had the helmet. I think she fired him out, and they just caught him in the helmet.
You can't take that off now. Oh, after 2 weeks, I'm going to stink. You'll get used to it.
Well, actually, none of them leave their helmets on anymore. Only Din Djarin is the only one that does.
Yeah, it's because he mistook like super glue for Brill cream, you know.
That's why.
Yeah, you know, they over-egged the pudding with the last series.
So the whole shape.
They over-egged the pudding. Is that a meringue?
It's all right. It's a lemon meringue.
That's a Garth meringue.
Garth meringue.
Has anyone watched the latest series of Star Trek Picard?
I started watching some of that, man, and I fell off a bit.
Really?
Yeah.
I quite enjoyed it. It to me, well, I may have been slightly blindsided by Red Letter Media banging on about it for 3 whole videos.
Do they like it?
Yeah, they loved it. Because they hated the first 2 seasons because of the direction it went. They said that this season felt like what it was intended to be, which was an original series movie.
Yeah.
I'm ignoring what's going on the left.
Yeah, I just think it's like, is this something we're doing now? You know, like.
Yeah, carry on.
Yeah, it was. It felt like the next gen movie we never got, sort of the next generation movie in the style of the original series movies.
Right. The I think I've only watched part of the first series, but I remember thinking it was pretty bleak for a
white guy.
I was expecting a Star Trek Next Generation vibe.
Oh. Yeah, no, it's not that. It's you have to. It's very much an original movies style of presentation, but it's not like the original TV series until the very end. It's one of those things you have to stick with it.
Right. Okay.
Basically, they bring back the Enterprise D.
Yeah.
And
something interesting about the Mandalorian and that whole Star Wars thing is like that whole fetish that we all have for those helmets all the way back from Boba Fett, you know?
Yeah.
I think sort of the beginning of that whole mythology with space guy helmets, it have to be 2000 AD, right? Because you've got these stories that never interlock. They never have tangents between them, but you kind of almost feel like they exist at least in the same aesthetic universe, because you've got Strontium Dog with the helmet, then you got Rogue Trooper with the helmet, then you got Judge Dredd, and they're like variations. They're not all the same, but they're each iconic.
Yeah.
And then the Star Wars has the same thing. It's got the Mandalorian helmets, the Stormtrooper helmets, these different ones.
Which is why I was surprised in The Mandalorian that he ever took his helmet off, at least in the first season. I thought, wow, that's the sort of thing you save until season 6.
Right.
Or if you're really cool and restrained, never do it at all. You never find out what
for the purposes,
in the
for the purposes of the story with Grogu, for that purpose,
your mic's on, Rob.
No, Rob's not. The purposes of that story.
No, it's me microphone. Oh,
go ahead, Max. For the purposes of that story,
we've got someone talking in the background. Then
we're getting Spanish TV come through.
That's better. For the purposes of that story, taking the helmet off made sense because he reveals his face to his kid at the end and he breaks his vow for that kid. But that's kind of distilled because he takes his helmet off earlier on, which I can only imagine was some bullshit decision.
We can't have this actor not show his face. It's exactly the same arguments they gave to Sylvester Stallone in the Judge Dredd film. Trying to tie this back to 2000 AD somehow.
Does he have to? Oh, sorry, go on.
I was just going to ask, does Rogue Trooper ever take his helmet off?
Yes, he does.
Yeah. He loses it a couple of times. My question is, does the Mandalorian, when he takes his helmet off for Grogu, does he have
do you get a boner? Yes.
Does he have to go swimming in the mines again in Mandalore again? That apparently are not easy to get to. But
no, Rob, he's not taken his helmet off since going in the mines. He's good.
Apparently, well, okay, fair enough. All right then.
At all in season 2.
So I think that instead of destroying the Darksaber, he should have put a chip with his personality into the Darksaber, so that way the Darksaber is the king of Mandalore.
Okay, Max says that's too much for Max.
It's in the live.
I think they should have called him what name would, if it had put his chip in it, what name would they have given him? Like Knifeman? Blade?
Knifey? Knifey?
Butterworth? Like a butter knife.
No, Bowie. His name would have been Bowie.
Bowie! Right. Fucking A, yes.
Brilliant.
I think what stood out the most to me about this story overall was the sense that Rogue Trooper is just more powerful and better equipped to survive in the world. Because, what's his main weapon? The first time we see him, he cuts open the North's hazmat suits. So they just get contaminated by the air. So all he does is expose the people to the planet itself.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's almost like he's the Swamp Thing of New Earth because he's the only life form that's
that's a nice
comparison. Yeah, that's right. His superpower is that he can
breathe.
Right. That he can go in the water because look, here he throws this Nort into the water and the deadly pollutants of the scum sea went to work. The water.
Oh, it hurts! It hurts!
And then he does, what is it, a Heimlich scream, whatever. And then
the character is indestructible. Is that right?
Well, he's not indestructible, but he's immune to the atmosphere, the water and the air, whereas it's toxic to humans.
Okay, so of course it's a play on GI, which is a general infantryman, and a general infantryman was, just your regular regular plod soldier, and he's a genetically modified infantryman, genetic infantryman. No?
Yeah,
and that's but he's completely different. He's an absolute specialist, but he could still, he could do something that practically nobody else on the planet can. he could breathe the atmosphere, and that's why they create. That's why they cloned them and bred them like that.
Yeah, isn't that a cool idea? There's something about
but this is a trope that's been. I mean, when you think about it, it's the same as Judge Dredd, because all those kids are clones. All the judges are clones.
Right. But yeah, that is true. But you don't. That's not like the staple of the character. The staple of the character.
No, but it's like it's nothing we've not seen before.
Sure.
Well, it's a new variation on the theme.
Yeah, I guess.
I think, and I would say a more sophisticated.
I wish I had more time at the moment. I'm very busy with work, but this is one thing I was thinking of pursuing, was like looking into like what other science fiction literature there is out there where, for example, soldiers have been bred for a specific purpose. Halo Jones had it as well with the slabs.
Yeah.
Universal Soldier.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Soldier with Paul Anderson. Soldier with
Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell. Yeah.
I never much cared for Kurt Russell.
What?
Yeah, seriously. A lot of people like him, but like as an actor, I just find that's what I believe. Like his reactions and like they're pretty much. It's like a younger Roger Moore.
Yeah, he's a comic book,
and therefore awesome.
Yeah.
But do you remember Roger Moore on Spitting Image? Okay, Roger, we want you to show surprise.
Exactly.
Okay, now show inquisitiveness.
Just with your eyebrows is a
now show anger.
Ben, if Rogue Trooper, if Rogue Trooper was a movie, who would you have playing Rogue Trooper?
I was just going to ask the same question.
Yeah, of course.
Well, it's got to be somebody blue. It's got to be somebody blue. So I reckon the elephant from Dumbo.
Yeah.
What was his name?
Russell, 30 years ago, could he have played Rogue Trooper?
Maybe. What do you think, Ben?
Who would play Rogue Trooper? George St. Pierre.
That's not bad.
No, somebody taller.
Who's George St. Pierre?
He is a MMA fighter, one of the best MMA fighters, classic, that is trying to make somewhat of a foray into Hollywood. And he was in a few Marvel films, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. What about Jason Statham?
He's
a little old now.
I feel like he needs to have an American accent.
Yeah, and also, I mean, Statham is a hard man, but it's not exactly the bulk that.
Yeah.
Doesn't really have the iconic bulk that Trooper does.
I don't know. He's quite bulky in the
mate.
Meg.
I think Statham's bulky.
Where it counts.
You think Statham's what?
Bulky.
I think Statham's bulky. Any bulky?
Do I think Statham's bulky?
I don't know. I don't think so.
He's certainly
Google images.
Just as long as it's not Timothy Chalamet, all right? Jesus Christ. I'm tired of this fucking kid, by the way.
Oh, is that the one from Dune?
Yeah.
Who's that? Okay. I haven't seen
the
it
kid
yet.
from Dune.
Yeah,
but he's been in a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Did anyone see on Red Letter Media, they mentioned Timothy Chalamet, and as they did, they put up a picture of Clint Howard. you know who Clint Howard is? He's like the weirdest looking actor in Hollywood. You will know him if you saw Clint Howard.
Oh God! I got to Google this now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got funny teeth and he's bald. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got weird eyes.
Timothy Chalamet.
I'd
That's
have
really funny.
Eddie Murphy playing him.
Tim Burton.
Who?
Oh,
Eddie
wow.
Murphy.
Eddie
Oh,
Murphy?
Clint Howard. Clint Howard was some kind of kid on Star Trek.
Yes, yeah, he was. Like I say, he's been in everything for the past 50 years.
Isn't he
He's
Ron
real
Howard's
trooper.
brother?
Yes.
See?
Uh,
Wow.
Yeah. Imagine being Ron Howard and being like, "Oh, he's the good-looking one. He's the good one."
He's a
He's
good
in
looking one.
every Ron Howard
He's a bit
film.
ginger, but
I know.
Who did you say would play?
One.
Who did you say would
You have to
play
be a model.
Rogue Trooper?
You don't really get bulky actors now. That's the thing.
well, you don't get blue bulky actors, and I think that's the problem, isn't it?
Well, you've
Because
got like
as soon as you start putting
but-
people in, like, oh, bye. What did I say? Okay, as soon as you start putting people in makeup and doing blue face, there's going to be somebody like, like people are going to complain.
Why didn't they cast a real blue actor?
By Krishna.
Yeah.
Exactly. That was an opportunity for representation of blue-skinned people, and they didn't do it. No, but I honestly missed that. Who did you say should play Rogue Trooper? Eddie Murphy?
Yeah, I was only messing.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of someone that is the correct age now that I would approve of playing him.
What is the correct age for the
He'd
character?
be about 30, wouldn't he? He looks like he's in his prime, doesn't he?
Because he's like he's giving orders and he knows what he's talking about, and he steps eye to eye to like generals and commanders. So he's not young, right? Yeah. I don't get the sense.
He's not a teenager anymore, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I don't even think he's in his 20s. Yeah, I'd say 35.
Yeah.
Sure. In which case, like, what did he do for the past 15 years? Yeah, I mean, all right, he trained, but
I don't know.
Got good, dude.
Grow up straight away, or is he that they have to nurture and train?
That's a good question. Mostly clones. They have them age a lot. He's probably only 12.
Right. Oh,
they age quickly or something.
Yeah. They artificially age them. God, we sound like nerds.
We are nerds.
Well, what they probably do, they probably put him in a birthing tank and he's born when he's 6.
But how long is a year?
He can actually read when he's 6, and he's just burst out of the birthing tank.
Yeah. No, but he would develop cognitively, really.
Because in the birthing tank, you see, they have cable television.
Listen, I'm just going through it. When all four of us eventually make the film, I need to know in what direction we're going.
So Max plays Rogue. Max plays Rogue. Rob is the bad man.
Well, I think that Matt Berry should actually play Rogue Trooper.
And I'm Gunner. Then that's
you can be. Of course, because you're the Yankee.
Because I'm the American, so
yeah,
I actually know.
But I think so. It should be a British actor, because otherwise, then you have all those British actors say, well, of course, originally in the literature he was a British actor, so why didn't they give a British actor the opportunity like Matt Berry?
You finished, Rob.
So there's another. There's one more thing I want to talk about.
It has continued.
Google eyes. He's like Carrot Top of podcasts. But are you gentlemen familiar with the theory of the 4 humors? Here's some of our friends. If we were Ninja Turtles, Aria's April O'Neil, of course. But you know why there are 4 Ninja Turtles? Anybody?
No, tell me why.
I'll shout at once. Well, the theory of the 4 humors.
4 is the magic number.
According to Aristotle, was that there are 4 basic personality traits for human beings. So one Ninja Turtle representative of each one, right? And I forget exactly what they are. Raphael is choleric because he's just like angry or crying. Those are his only modes. He's like always really intense and feeling everything strongly. And so that's me, of course. You can see I'm saluting with the spoon to my head, and in the Fremen style, right, or the the Dune style, right. And then we've got your Michelangelo, which is sanguine, I think. He's just like easygoing, tries to get along with everybody. Yeah. Do you have a clear idea of what they are and which one's which? I know Donatello is melancholic, which means that they're like more introverted.
Right.
And then Leonardo is phlegmatic, so he's just like practical and tries to get along with everybody. So which character? So here you have the 4 characters from Rogue Trooper, right? Helm,
Well, okay, then Rogue has got to
Gunnar,
be
and
the phlegmatic, hasn't he?
And
I would say so. Yeah, they're the same.
Yeah.
It's Megan Fox, isn't it?
Is Helm Raphael?
I think Gunnar is Raphael.
Okay.
Because he's always he's always like
he's
trying to get right at the action, you know, and jump the gun and sort things out.
So Bagman would be Donatello, right?
Yes. And well done to read my mind, future Ben, to know that Max would say that one next.
So if we juxtapose this onto Sex and the City, which one's Samantha?
Okay, I'll tell you what. I don't know because I haven't seen the show, but I know that there is one because like I've seen lists. I've seen lists of different TV shows that line up in those 4 categories, and definitely Sex and the City is one of them for sure.
Yeah.
Samantha's got to be Michelangelo, so that'll be Helm.
Yeah, and then Michelangelo is the Helm.
Yeah.
Just practical.
Oh, but that's a Samantha thing to say.
It's just a Samantha thing to say. Right, and then Arya.
Michelangelo's really wacky and zany, and he also likes shagging loads of men.
Who does?
Michelangelo. That's why he's like Samantha in the City.
The real Michelangelo, or the
He's got a bit of a hard shell, has he?
That was a very interesting. I didn't know that, man.
Actually, the real Michelangelo is a helmet that a guy wears on his head.
That is interesting
with his friend's personality in it.
Yeah,
I think somebody else
got a preference for big helmets.
The most successful TV shows have been ones where you have 4 characters at the center, because you can have endless possibilities with
combinations. Yeah,
The Simpsons.
Simpsons, things like
The Simpsons, and then of course they're extended. Friends.
But that's the exception to the rule because there's 6 there. Seinfeld.
Yeah, but like Gunther.
Seinfeld's a good one.
Gunther doesn't really count, does he?
Seinfeld's a really good example because he.
And neither do Ross and Rachel.
Ross and Rachel, they're just do it with the other 4. Forget
it's all about.
You have to let Friends off though, because they only each one of them only have a portion of the personality. So altogether,
there's probably some truth in that. Actually.
They only have 4
Could you be any more pedantic?
Fucking hell.
Yeah, if there was any deeper characterization in that, they could have got away with 4 characters instead of 6.
Seinfeld is a good example because you got George's choleric. What did you say?
He said,
George is choleric.
I think he's still
Elaine
is about Friends.
Melancholic. Jerry is Leonardo. And Kramer is Michelangelo, right?
Yeah. It totally works.
Totally works.
All right.
So, right. I'm not going to ask you to go over it again. This feels like something I should know. What this is? One more time with the categorizations.
So you got phlegmatic, you got phlegmatic, sanguine, choleric, and oh god, melancholy. Yeah,
melancholic. Okay, I'm going to be looking out for this.
Yeah.
So you're melancholic.
Yes.
Rob is phlegmatic. Rob's like, I'm glad he didn't say sanguine because I would have had to cut myself and bleed all over the screen if he had said sanguine. And then Max and I are both choleric though, so you get a double. You get a double dose of cholera on this show.
100 seasons of cholera.
Million years, Rick and Morty.
So which one's missing? Which one's missing then?
Yeah. What do we need, and which one of you do we need to get rid of?
Honestly, I confuse sanguine and phlegmatic, but we're missing one of those.
Okay.
You can tell I really prepped the show.
You know what? This is going to spur me on to do like a personality test tomorrow.
Yeah, let's all do it and find out what we are.
There you go. Oh, that's next week's show. That's next week's show.
Next week's show is just personality types. Did you imagine I have like a PDF of fucking Aristotle analysis, and I just
but you probably got something like
and I'm like, so according to A. Milner et al., sanguine personality types result from.
One moment.
We suddenly go extremely erudite.
Yeah, let's just do that. Yeah. We become in like a non-fiction, like freaking.
Like, it would be like a corporate team building thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, Jim, fall backwards. Except I'm in Germany.
That's really funny. So did you guys? Okay, we're over an hour, so I just have a couple more things I want to do with Rogue Trooper, and then we can wrap it up. But one thing I got two things.
I got two things to share before you cut us off.
Cool.
All right.
One of the things I wanted to go over was I want Rob to show us his Rogue Trooper collection.
Do we want to see these two things, Rob?
Right.
No, my Rogue.
That's
my Rogue Trooper collection is in like four boxes of 2000 ADs, but so that's a bit of a dramatic. Yeah. What I still have is
I have this.
Oh yeah, nice. I've got some of those as well. The quality comics, yeah.
So
in the quality comics, this is like when they resurrect. This is when they resurrect Helm and Gunner and Bagman, and then they start to evaporate because they just completely undo it. So that's another trope we've seen originating in 2000 AD and then repeated in Star Wars, Mandalorian. This whole plot. Well, they have this whole plot revolving around him reviving his buddies, right? And here we have.
Oh yeah.
And then as soon as it happens, they undo it, and they evaporate, and then from there on out, they go back to being the way they were.
So what you're saying is the Mandalorian is basically Rogue Trooper.
Yes.
Nice.
The Mandalorian is Rogue Trooper.
I'm sure.
Tune in next time.
What's his name? Steve Smith, the editor of 2000 AD, will be on the phone to Matt Smith. Will be on the phone.
Bastard.
Yeah. We'll be on the phone to the big mouse tomorrow saying, "Oi, I've just been watching this podcast."
Now you see the way that
I was really hopeful when The Mandalorian took off that there would be a Dread TV series.
It was supposed to be.
There was going to be one called Mega City 1, wasn't there? I
that
thought,
would be
okay, here's a TV series that proves that you don't have to show the actor's face for the
Right.
entirety of the thing. Science fiction, lots of cool action. It just seems
So
good to
before
go.
we head out, do you guys have any Rogue Trooper books that you want to show?
No, but I got some stuff that I can show. I've got it.
Sorry, I was just going to ask. So, in the States or South America, did you get 2000 AD, or was like the individual stories done as individual comics, individual issues?
Well, Quality Comics
they were released like this. Like this is several progs all together in a floppy.
Because generally one prog would have like 6 pages of a story. Then they'd be like formatted to like what, about 16 or 24 pages
this is pretty big
that would be one
comic.
story, would it?
Yeah, so this is one story, but this is like an extra size comic. It's like 32 pages.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty big for an American comic book size.
Yeah.
I wanted to say to the earlier point that we were talking about, like you dive into stories, and I don't know about the other guys, the other Brits, but that was one thing that, when I went on holiday with my parents, you'd see spinner racks with different, God knows, American imports or American sized comic books, and you'd always come away with a few of them, and you'd have absolutely no context of what the hell's going on. Because you've only just got like 1 or 2 copies of, Spider-Man, Green Lantern, or Superman, God knows what.
Picking up a bunch on holiday and getting dropped right into the middle of the
right.
Spider-Man Clone Saga, and I was like, "What the fuck is going on? Why are there like loads of different Spider-Man? Like, who's Kane?"
God, where did you guys go on a holiday? I don't remember.
If you went on holiday
to the beach.
Yeah, you went on holiday in around Europe. They'd have them on the beach and stuff.
Yeah, where did you go? We went to Yarmouth a few times. We went to Cornwall once. Where did you go, Max?
What, when I was a kid?
Yeah,
I did quite well. I used to go abroad quite a lot. So I used to go
jammy
Ireland and Spain and France and.
Oh yeah, but you're the younger generation.
I did do Bournemouth a couple of times.
Bournemouth, yes, Bournemouth. What about you, Jim?
France a lot, Ireland quite a bit. General places, Mallorca, Menorca.
Hang on a sec. I'll get me helm.
He's gonna put
There's
on.
a reason for that.
He's gonna put on.
We're moving. That's why.
Strontium dog helmet, I guess. So, like, are there any particular stories from Rogue Trooper that you remember reading that you really were impressed by?
Well, I think for me it was like the sandbox sort of format of it that I used to like anyway. So they're all only individual. So like one of my favourite ones is the one I was talking about earlier, where you sort of take the instructions from Helm, who's having a nervous breakdown because he's just seen the guy that murdered him in a gunfight.
Right.
And I think the other one was it was like a really cut down version of A Fistful of Dollars, but it was Rogue Trooper, and he because it always kind of. I'm sure this is why when we did Roken, I really wanted it to start with the first image with Roken and his father sort of traveling across the desert. Let's start there, and like the image is of them walking through the desert. Because I always used to enjoy a lot of the stories with Rogue Trooper that it would start and it would usually be him walking through a wasteland.
Right.
and I suppose in my head I've just locked on. That's how you start. You know, you're sort of jumping into a guy in the middle of his travels. And
I had the same idea. Like that's how I wrote it in the first place.
Yeah. And
reading stories like that.
I think that's both our favourite page.
Yeah, for sure.
And so one of the stories starts like that, and he just basically moses into town, and it's split between two gangs, and it's like a space town. It's more like Mos Eisley than it is a cowboy town. And essentially, Rogue Trooper just gets these two factions to turn against each other by pretending to work with each of them. And one of them has got the to help them. Their big weapon is they've got like these organisms that sort of float around the radioactive desert, and they've sort of developed there over the years. And they're basically like giant jellyfish that float in
the decapitators.
Yeah, and they feed off human blood. And one of the gang members has found a way of communicating with them, so it takes them from town to town and sets these unstoppable creatures on people in order to sort of get money out of them. And they're fairly docile. And I think right at the very end, Rogue Trooper turns one of the creatures on this gang leader, who's like this big fat woman. And I just remember the final picture was of her just like full of all these tentacles that are sucking all the blood out of her.
Oh wow!
And Rogue Trooper's just like fuck you sort of thing. It's proper brutal. But like because of what I do, it's like the imagery just stayed with me. It's really and it was all painted as well, if I remember correctly. I tried to search it for the show, and I think it was in. They used to do every summer or
a summer special.
Yeah, like a summer special or an autumn special.
Right.
It wasn't an issue, and I've really struggled to find it. It's not like a hardback either.
Right.
So I bet there are only so many printed. But yeah, that was one of those two. Probably two of my favourites.
God, I don't know. I don't even know if I've got any summer specials in my collection.
Yeah.
It'd be amazing if
I would have to really run.
If Rob just found it right now.
They used to introduce new characters in the summer specials, didn't they? To see how they did. Do you remember Maniac 5?
No.
That's probably one that we
what year did you start reading?
1989.
Okay.
Or 88. I've got the first ever 2000 AD or Judge Dredd annual I got from my mum when I was
nice.
When I was at primary school.
Right.
And I think it was the Judge Dredd 1981.
I think I started reading about 83.
Oh really? So
yeah.
I would have
so that's like exactly the time that Halo Jones started, eh?
Right.
Yeah.
But they were. But Maniac 5 was like that was what it's quite similar to what Ben was just saying. So that's about the government create 4 war robots, and they each have those 4 different personalities, and then they make they make 5. And Maniac 5 is the one. They're all sort of like RoboCop, so they're robots, but they've got like human brains, and they're the brains of like dead soldiers. And most of them, like except for Maniac, don't remember who they are. And Maniac 5 is the one
like RoboCop.
Yeah. So they're all sent out to like drill civilians and stuff, doing like Nazi shit. And then sort of Maniac 5 realizes what he's doing. And then breaks away. So like the story is him trying to find out that he's got a family. And I think there's a similar RoboCop story where he stalks his own wife for a bit, and then he sort of has to tail off. But then eventually he has to face his 4 teammates, and they're all like different size robots. But it's great, really, really cool. And for some reason, even though he's a robot, he wears a headband.
Well, I mean, oil sweat.
Yeah, for sure.
He's got an Axel.
Yeah.
Like Axl Rose.
Yeah. Well, that's a good one. I think Ben would like that.
Yeah. Ben, Share what I'm sharing.
I'll share what you're sharing.
Oh, okay. Right. So this is from Luke McGarry. I was at a, what do you call it, like an online thing, and the Riddler's riddle me this: are those nipples? Which I kind of like. I'm Batman. Boink.
I like you draw something like that. It's good.
Right, stop sharing that, and then I'm going to share my my notes, because you know I made notes, right? You know I made notes. Yeah,
right, that's why we love you.
I love you guys too. Right, even though you make fun of my jokes. Right, so here's the thing. Here's the thing. Right, I've put my notes up. I mean, I've read Rogue Trooper for years. I read Rogue Trooper years and years and years because, of course, having the originals around about the mid, the early 80s to the early 90s, right? And then what we were talking about with the exposition at the beginning of every story is like, what's that? Oh, are we going to read together, Ben? Ben's lost the will.
Ben, you're on mute.
Yeah, there was just an airplane flying by.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. What
I thought you might want to.
Looks like a GI out there. He's going to attack the Hell Streak.
GI, Captain.
Genetic infantryman. One of an elite squad biologically engineered to operate unhindered on New Earth.
Well, thank you for mansplaining that to me. A gene trooper, someone who could breathe this poison, but my training sergeant said they were all wiped out in the Quartz Massacre, and I'm sure that name will be heard again.
There are some things in this war that even your training sergeant doesn't know about, son, and we're just one of them.
What do you mean? Oh, okay. And then
outside, the rainstorm, made worse by use of chemical warfare, was falling heavily. We've lost our chance now, Mr. Brass, and the Nords could have had troopers for a reasonable figure.
Oh yeah, I put this in mainly because, and I'm sure Max will back me up. There was Mr. Brass and Mr. Mr. Bland, who were like nefariously they were dealing in like illegal weapons, weapon sales, for both sides indeed, and you can tell this is the 2000 AD stance on these guys, because look at them, they're wearing bowler hats, they're in chemical suits, but they're wearing bowler hats, so they're from the city and they're the bad guys. Because 2000 AD is like a very northern, very kind of like anti-establishmentarianism.
Yeah.
Right. And then I put this in because they're Daleks, aren't they?
Yeah, pretty much.
Alert!
Yeah, they're Daleks, number 146 or whatever.
Yeah. I put this in because, of course, I wanted also to allude to the fact that Helm is a helmet. Bagman
is a bag.
is a shopping bag. Gunnar is a gun. What? Get out! Oh, that's so clever. And then I put this in because of the New Earth Future War. Like, they're in the freaking time. Look, guys. Look, listen. Okay, to all the people in the future.
It's called dissociative personality disorder.
Exactly. Ben, make me big.
All four of them, they're just one person.
Ben, make me... Okay, all those people who years from now, weeks from now, millennia from now are watching this, don't think that you're living in the future. Just live in the present.
Okay.
Ben, make me small.
And show.
Yeah, but I'm not finished yet. I'm not finished yet because I've also got this. Oh, Cam Kennedy, freaking excellent.
Ah,
What now?
everything looks weird on my screen.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Cam Kennedy is like got some excellent art going on, and then I just, in the very short time I had reading through, I realized that this guy, here we go, this guy, player who's stolen who's stolen Helm. This is it. The thing with yeah, I know it's a cliffhanger. The thing about Rogue Trooper is you've got different artists working on it. So in one issue, player is wearing this Souther, open face, open mask, mask helmet, and then the next, oh my God, yeah, player's dead, and he's wearing a Nort helmet.
Right.
God, I love a bit of discontinuity.
So when they rebooted Rogue Trooper, they did replace him with Friday. And Gunner, Helm, and Bagman were replaced with Top, Lucky, and 8-Ball.
Was Top the Hat?
Yeah. And then
Lucky Bag.
Yeah, he also, heading off into the galaxy, Friday discovered the existence of the biochips containing the brain patterns of his deceased former comrades, Top, Lucky, and 8-Ball. He slotted them into his equipment, giving 8-Ball control of his rifle. Lucky,
right.
The augmented backpack.
And of course, 8-Ball, because it's phonetically similar to 8-bore shotgun.
Yeah, and Top, the surveillance equipment in his helmet. He also discovered the existence of a previous generation of GIs created on a second New Earth halfway across the galaxy and met the
what year was this?
So this is 1989 when it rebooted, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So that would be New Earth, and we've heard that name before. We've definitely heard the name New Earth before.
Yeah. But then later on in the 90s, they brought back the original the original Rogue Trooper.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's another thing I really loved about the about Bagman. It's like like in one episode he always
had a lot of things. He was always carrying things.
I mean, they really should have redesigned it as a lady's freaking handbag, because that would have been a whole lot more believable. What the fuck do you keep in there?
Bagman is like your mom or something. They like always have you.
It's got like a claw arm. Here, have a Kleenex.
Oh, you have a headache.
You've got something on your cheek.
Oh, do you have a headache? Here, I've got. Exactly, dude. He's just always helping him out. Deus ex machina, more like. More like baggy.
More like Deus Rex Machina.
Yeah, exactly. So I think we pretty much covered everything.
Bit too high, right?
Bye.
As we've just seen, drugs make your problems go away. So make it the best day possible. Remember, it's drugs that counts. Take one and take a chance.
Saturday morning cartoons, mostly conjecture based on little knowledge.